listening to my favorite talk show, The Weekly Show with Aditya.
This is episode 180 on the 11th of March 2020. Welcome to part 1 of this episode. Previous researches reiterated that stress has negative effects. Now a new research postulates that stress can have positive effects. In a way, I disagree with this because according to me, stress is a state of mind. Stress is for idle mind. If you are occupied in whatever profession you are proficient in, then there is no time to stress about mitigating factors or collateral damage. Deep dive into some of the things individuals stress about: relationships, money, employment, social status, what others think about them. Number 1, relationships. People are stressed about relationships, be it friendships or romantic relationships or something as mundane as marriage. This very relationship, its tentacle like the octopus, and then we delve into things like jobs, money, employment, retirement, social status with certain norms set by the society. Individuals are unable to keep up with those norms. They are stressed. What happens when an individual is stressed? Link that to the psychosomatic lifestyle diseases. That is consumption of carbohydrates and processed food, which in turn can affect the health of an individual, especially the cardiac part of one's health. Have created such a halo around this thing called jobs that working for others is a privilege. That if an individual is unemployed, though the definition of unemployed is still subjective, you are idle. If you are idle, indulge in activities which are seen as anti-social, stressing everyone around this particular individual. Students are stressed because they want to get high marks in their school years so that they can get into a good college. Then what is the next step? Graduating from the college with a good GPA so that they can get a good job. Stress has a negative or a positive effect. That is notwithstanding, the main point is why be stressed about anything. I, as a host, be stressed because my listeners are not consistent when it comes to listening to my talk shows. Should I postulate this theory that maybe my content is not good enough? Maybe the individuals in my email list are not interested in this talk show format. I cannot be stressed out by the fact that if individuals are listening to my talk shows, episodes or not, whether they want to listen or not to listen, that is their choice. Not today, maybe a decade from now, these very individuals who are not interested or did not find this format appealing might start listening to it. Not waste my time stressing about whether my listeners are increasing or reducing, whether I have over 1,000 downloads for my talk show or whether my YouTube channel only has less than 100 views. I cannot allow this to affect my content and its quality. I cannot waste time scratching my head that why are individuals not listening. If they are not listening, it's their choice, their loss. All good content requires time to mature, and my talk show is maturing like an old wine. The same way when Aristotle was postulating his theories, maybe people, his contemporaries, did not take him seriously. Quote the Einstein, the Newtons, the Aristotles, the Platos and their contemporaries. Maybe the day my talk show becomes a part of the vintage, maybe 100 years from now, it will become part of history, a recording that people will want to listen because it will be history. I can't be stressed if the present day generation, only 10% out of 50 contacts listen to my talk show. I have to keep producing quality content and not stressed about the fact that who is listening, who is not listening, who is subscribing, who is unsubscribing to my content. Yes, I cannot be stressed about this. I have to move on. So, yes, stress is a state of mind. It neither has positive impact nor a negative impact. Now, let's take a look at what these theorists had to say about stress having some positive effects. Stress can certainly lead to negative health outcomes. A new study by Penn State researchers suggests that stress also benefits people socially. The pressure of talking to people, networking means that individuals are stressed about it. So more you talk to people, more positive the stress impact is. One of the researchers, David Almeida, goes on to further say that if stress can actually connect us with other people, which I think is absolutely vital to the human experience, I think that is a benefit. It could potentially help people deal with negative situations by driving them to be with other people. While this researcher may have his reasons for coming up with such hypotheses, for me, I don't need to be stressed out to be with other people. You don't need an excuse, be it negative or positive, to network with other individuals. Connect with other people because that is human nature. Humans have connected with other people for generations and they will continue to connect with peers and others for generations to come, be it through the digital or the analog world. One of the biggest reasons individuals are stressed because they take everything seriously. Want to reduce stress? Take things semi casually. There is an important event coming up in which you are face to face with other competitors. Only thing you as an individual can do is prepare your piece. Don't over prepare it. Let it not look like preparation or mugging up. It has to be natural, whatever you do, be it writing exams or giving a lecture or giving a speech, it has to be natural. In such competitions, the first step is to not take it like a competition, take it like any other day. Well, it's easier said than done. One will always be nervous when approaching such competitions or exams or any such marquee event where a lot of individuals are involved as one's competitors. In this situation, the only thing an individual can do is to be relaxed. It doesn't mean that one has to be overconfident or cocky. The most important things in this situation is don't be influenced by the hype created around such competitions or examination. One can be as semi-casual as one can be. Then stress is never going to take over. We will never forget what we have to say. And in these situations, one has the right to improvise as long as it doesn't affect the speech structure and as long as it doesn't make individual feel that there is too much of fiction. I may have messed up the story or whatever I had to write. It's a universal truth that stress is a state of mind, has absolutely nothing to do with the era we are born in. In hindsight, should an individual be casual about things at all times? Yes, they should be. One of the reasons I am a talk show host is because I can create my own substance. I am not dependent on others telling me talk about this subject. A different matter if my listeners tell me that talk about this subject, but that is only a suggestion and not an order. What does the negative effects of stress include? heart disease, compromised immune functions, and depressive symptoms. Just like stress, most of these impacts mentioned are also a state of mind. It's psychosomatic. Individuals are stressed about the most mundane of things. So how do they get the stress buster? They smoke, they drink. You wouldn't need to smoke or drink if an individual wasn't stressed. And how will an individual not be stressed? Just don't take things seriously. Take it in the most semi-casual manner. Whether it's relationships, one's job, one's life as a student, in a relationship you break up doesn't matter. It's not the end of the world. If your job is not going well, if you are not being appreciated by one's peers or one's superior, tell them I am going to start my own venture where I will appreciate my work and I will be my own boss. The cutoff for a college is 100% and a student gets 99.9% and misses out on a favorite college. Then go to another college. It's not the end of the world. The college does not define the student. Best thing in the world is BYOB. Be your own boss in every decision made. Suggestions can be taken which are good, but overall it's BYOB. Eating up to one egg per day may be good for you and does not increase the risk of heart attack or stroke as previously feared, say researchers. Such researches often amuse me. Why is there this obsession to link everything to calories and lifespan? Is there a sudden pseudo concern with one's decision to consume food, whether they be processed or organic or natural? This really does baffle me. Our pseudo concern, we have come up with brilliant terms such as cholesterol content, processed food, fatty food, and link everything to CVD, cardiovascular diseases. Is there any food in the world that is good for an individual's health? This means that every food we consume, be it legumes, that is vegetables, or milk products, that is cottage cheese and its allied products, foods with high source of protein content, that is meat and fish products, even for those who declare themselves as pure vegetarians. And these individuals are not immune to CVD because these very individuals who presume that if they do not consume meat products, supplement this meat product by having sugary foods, laddu or a gulab jamun, no matter the emotional sentiment it has, is as dangerous as consuming meat products and also can lead to CVD. In hindsight, whatever we consume is a source of CVD and stroke. This discussion is linked to my previous talk about stress. When individuals are stressed, they eat a lot, irrelevant of what they eat, be it high source of carbohydrates or fats or processed food or simple vegetarian content. This is a myth, but individuals actually believe that if you are stressed, you eat more. My question is, why should we be stressed in the first place? Coming back to this research of how suddenly eggs have become a good source of protein for your body. Not about what you consume, it's how much you consume. Someone tells me that burger is bad for health. I will tell them that stop dividing foods into Western and Eastern foods. Samosa is as caloried food as burger. One doesn't need a research to say that whether eggs are good for an individual's health or not, whether they contribute to the protein content or not. For me, diabetes, hypertension, CVD is a myth and an imagination. Only an imagination, but a product of our own gullibility. Individual cannot consume sugary products and then say 30 years later that I suffer from diabetes. If you were consuming sugary products for decades, that individual does not deserve to have any kind of pity. The same with people who consume food with high salt content and then people pity them because they suffer from collateral damage associated with consuming such foods in a larger content. Individuals decide whether eggs or any other such food is good for their health and how much they want to consume. I am often baffled that why do we bring mythical term lifestyle disease into the discussion again and again. It's not as if individuals in their 70s or 80s were fit, even they had suffered from some or the other kind of mythical and mythological diseases. Even if one presumes that the individuals in their 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, and 80s did not consume meat products and were pure vegetarians, did not naturally mean that they were not suffering from lifestyle diseases. These individuals who presume themselves to be pure vegetarians had other malicious habits like being high on salt and sugary content. These very individuals were high on a diet of golgappas, which are unhygienically prepared, the golgappas, the samosas, any other assorted Indian junk food. It doesn't mean that pizza is not good, but it means that one should consume in moderation, or the fact that if one consumes pizza today, one can consume the same product after a month. Dieting and fasting is not the solution to anything in the world. Their eggs once upon a time were responsible for TD and stroke because of their cholesterol content to individuals as to how much they want to consume. It's time to move over mythical elements like hypertension, stroke, diabetes, or CVDs. All of this is a state of mind. This ends part 2 of this episode. Stay tuned for part 3. Welcome to part 3 of this episode. Curb on your calories and increase your lifespan, says a study. Means that consuming healthy food may help you to live longer. But what does one mean by the term healthy food? There is no concrete answer to the question healthy food. But as individuals, we all know what are calories, what is processed food, what is cholesterol content. And over the years, there has been an understanding that everything is associated with either sedentary lifestyle diseases, or climate change. Suddenly, there is this urge to consume calorie-free food. It is going on a diet of fruits. But this doesn't solve the problem, does it? Let's look in details. What this research hypothesizes: restricting food calorie intake may help reduce levels of inflammation through the body, delay the onset of age-related diseases, and increase lifespan. Means, and this is a bad news for most Indians, stop consuming naan and parantha. Naan and parantha are, despite the emotions associated with this food product, along with the puris we love so much, produced with raw materials that includes a lot of salt. Paranthas, one can say, that are still good for one's health if consumed in a smart manner. Naan and puris high on calorie, salt content, saturated fatty acid, and high cholesterol content. Another research, and this is hilarious, has come out that Mediterranean diet may be panacea for aging. It says that switching to a Mediterranean diet might hold the key to slowing down the aging process. As said in my previous two sections, everything is a state of mind, and that includes cholesterol high content food, high sugary content food, high salt intake food. Never about what an individual consumes, it's about how much an individual consumes. We have come up with age related diseases like cancer, dementia, and diabetes. I don't understand that why, as a collective, are we only obsessed with diseases? Where did this obsession to come out with diseases and then say that don't consume this, be healthy, have a healthy diet come from? This over obsession about talking about lifestyle diseases like hypertension, CVD, diabetes, dementia, cancer, and other allied diseases